Hey, what's up, everybody? This is going to be Moose Milk Podcast Episode 2. I'm just waiting for Matt to join, but thanks for joining us. Oh, here we go. Do it. I think. If I did this right.
Hey, man.
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
I still don't know how to work anything, so, you know.
Yeah, I know. I gotta put a headphone in so I can hear better and hopefully sound better.
No worries. You sound fine right now, but...
It's better.
And like your voice...
I brought this for the party.
Oh, perfect. That's all we needed.
I know.
I like being squeaky, or unsqueaky.
That's funny. How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I had a busy day. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, work was busy.
Never good.
Nope. But that's okay. It's the weekend now. So that's great.
It sure is. So you want a crazy story?
What do I want? A crazy story? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So, Wednesday night, I come home. Well, like I worked Wednesday night. I work midnights for everybody that doesn't know. So I come home from work in the morning, and I'm just making dinner. It's Thursday morning, typical morning, and all of a sudden, gunshots outside my house. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So what happened? Do you know?
I don't know specifics exactly, but I think it was a drive-by.
Oh my god! Are you in a good area? Or?
Yeah, I am. That's the weird part.
Oh, that is weird. It's weird because I don't even know where you live now because I haven't been home in so long, right? I haven't been home in
it's not far from my old house. I don't want to give specifics right now, obviously.
Yeah. What exactly is your address again?
Yeah, it's 444 Mountain Road.
That's my address.
But ended up there's 8 cops at my house basically.
Damn.
Like losers, a forensic team. Like they were like going door to door to take down like info. I was like the main source of one of the because I'm like real close to it. So they're like asking me all this stuff. I'm like,
saw anything?
I don't know anything about anything, man. Like they're like, oh, can you give specifics on like anything you've seen? I'm like, I couldn't tell you a car manufacturer if my life depended on it. Like,
it was great.
Not my forte.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, so gunshots, crazy.
Oh, great. That's interesting.
Yeah, man.
Well, at least was anybody hurt? Oh, my friend.
No, there's no injuries, but like, I guess they shot the house, so I'm assuming it was like something drug or money or something related, but. Wild, man. That's the last thing I would ever expect. Like,
it's not really great.
No. It's scary, man.
Good. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Hopefully that's hopefully that's isolated.
Yeah, well, that's what I said to my parents. I'm like, I didn't realize you sold me a house in gang territory. Thank you.
Are you Bloods or Crips? I see your red hat there. Oh, it's kind of got blue too, though. So shit.
Yeah, it's Texans hat, buddy. So it's got a little bit of both. My team's a dumpster fire, though. So.
Oh no, that's not good. My team is too.
Canucks. Oh, you're just making a joke about how little you know about football.
That's right.
Yeah, good. I liked it.
That's great. So I assume you obviously watched WandaVision.
No, we're going to do a whole podcast, but I'm just going to make it up as we go.
That's great.
What did you think, buddy?
I liked it better, but I'm still finding it very slow.
See, I liked it worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't like this episode at all.
Oh, weird. Okay, so I guess we'll do no spoilers at the beginning, and then.
Yeah, we'll give you a notification when we get to the spoilers, but
all right, I'll try. I'm super big.
Yeah. I mean,
no promise.
I'll just say this: I thought it was extremely slow.
Mm-hmm.
The episode was 33 minutes long, something like that. Yeah. I thought the first 20 minutes could have been completely thrown away.
To me, it's like they've been leading up to kind of say, I don't even know how we could do this without spoilers at this point. Like, we're
Yeah.
3 episodes in, I just can't really.
Okay, well, you know what? We're just gonna hop into spoilers because how do you talk about this short
I agree.
30-minute episode without spoilers? So if you haven't watched the episode and you don't want spoilers,
to be honest, even if we spoil it, what are we really spoiling? Because, like, let's be honest, nothing really happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, some stuff happened, but like,
yes,
to me.
But if you're sensitive to spoilers, and you don't want spoilers,
maybe just watch it first.
Watch the episode, come back and watch Shaw on YouTube tomorrow or something like that. Like, we don't want to ruin it for anybody, but yes, it's a hard show to talk about without saying what's going on in the plot.
Yeah. So to me, it's like they spent the first 2 episodes kind of like showing us what this little world they're living in is. And then all of a sudden it starts glitching to kind of show us that like there's something obviously more here. And I feel like this whole episode was just like glitching. It's just like, okay, like we get it. Like there's something going on here and like we just can't really figure out what exactly it is. And I just felt like, I don't know.
See, I like the first 2 episodes because I was like, okay, these are the setup episodes. Like it's setting up the tone, it's setting up the characters, and I like where it's heading. So I really expected this 3rd episode to be like, okay, we're into it now. Like, we are going to show what's happening, and this is going to be like the episode that really like makes the plot move forward. And it felt like the 32-minute episode felt like it was 90 minutes that long. Like, I was bored for the first 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It kept my interest enough. Like, I think the thing I liked about it was like it kind of got like darker. Like the part where she's talking to what's Monica Rambeau's character there, the black girl's name. I can't remember her name.
I had it too.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, her Geraldine. Geraldine, right? So that part where she's like, wasn't he killed by Ultron? I was just like, oh, dude,
same,
it's crazy.
But the problem is,
because like but then that was it. Like it was just
right. But that's what I'm saying. That was 20 minutes into the episode.
I know. Yeah.
Like for the first, that opening like area scene where Vision's outside and his neighbor is like cutting through the brick.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, that's creepy as hell. Like we're on to something here. Like already things are glitching out. Like this is gonna get into something deep right away. And it just didn't. Like, it was just like, oh, it's a glitch again, and we're just going to move past that. And then the next 15 minutes was Vision and Wanda trying to cover up the fact that she's pregnant. And I'm like, well, you're covering up the fact that she's pregnant, but it doesn't matter that she's like, none of these characters care.
Yeah.
And that's like I don't know, like, it doesn't, the show doesn't make sense as a whole because she's protecting herself against knowing that she's whatever, she has powers and she's pregnant and this pregnancy doesn't make sense. But then again, on the other hand, none of these characters notice anything anyway. I guess that's part of the simulation or whatever, but it just didn't make sense. Like she's pregnant and all the stuff in the house is going haywire and like the pictures are flipping all over. Yeah. And then Geraldine's like standing there and she doesn't even notice any of it. And I'm like, well, what's the point of bringing this up?
She makes a comment. She's like, I'm sure that there's a logical explanation for this or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. My dog is
again.
Ben, come here, bud. Come here.
I have a dachshund also. I know how much they love barking.
They sure do. He's just a joy. Just a joy. Yeah, I just thought as a whole, the episode was way too slow and we didn't get any real big reveals until the very end.
Yeah. Well, like, it's weird because, like, so I took a few notes. So one of the things that I didn't notice, but Kate noticed when we were watching was at the beginning when they're like setting up the crib or whatever in the baby room. I don't know if you noticed, because I didn't, but she sets up 2 cribs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, no.
So there's like a big one, and then there's kind of like a smaller one right behind it. But there's like 2 cribs.
Oh, really?
So I'm kind of wondering if like maybe she subconsciously is like I mean, obviously, this is in her mind. I think, right? But like, I kind of feel
Well,
like this episode solidified.
but see, the ending makes it seem like it's
Oh,
not in her mind, right?
Stranded just said the other one's a bassinet. It's a smaller sleeper. Oh, okay.
Well, talking to two guys that don't have children, I mean, great.
John
But
does have kids. So.
fair enough. To me, like, not enough is moving forward. And if you put all the entire season on at once, then it would be different where I could just, okay, I'm on to episode 4 and we're moving forward in the plot. But when you have to wait a week and this is all we get, it's just too little.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we'll talk about the ending here because I think the ending is obviously the biggest part of the episode. And
where she get, okay. Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, let me get my dog. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Ah, yes. Oh, Finnegan. Look at that.
Say hello. Yeah, so she grabs Geraldine, who's actually Monica Rambeau's daughter from Captain Marvel, right?
Yep.
So and she throws her out of the simulation into the real world. And the simulation, I just watched Captain Marvel like literally just before we came online, and like the Kree like warriors and everything, like their barrier around their planet or whatever looks exactly like what they're using to keep the simulation like maintained.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I did see it in the sky like once she fell out of it.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking is like, could this be the Skrulls? Is that all these people within the simulation are actually Skrulls and they're impersonating people she knew?
That's really interesting.
I don't know.
They are doing a Secret Wars show,
right? Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe this is setting up Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, Secret Invasion? No.
Secret Invasion, right.
Secret Invasion? Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to obviously introduce the Skrulls into the entire universe. I mean, they did, but that's the 90s, like that Captain Marvel takes place. So this is, 30 years in the future. Like they have to implement the Skrulls somehow into the future of this universe. So maybe this is the way they introduce the Skrulls as like the main villain of the next.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I do think that we're going to get like, I don't think it's going to be so much like one big baddie anymore. I think we're going to be looking at like a lot of main bad guys living in one universe. Like, I think it's not going to be so like formulaic in the sense that it's like, here's a big, huge global threat that we all need to team up and fight against. I think that will be Phase 5. Do you? Yeah. I think they're going to just build a universe of characters, and I think they're going to like stop killing bad guys, and like I think they're going to grow the universe, like not just heroes, but because the more heroes around, you have to have villains that stick around too, right?
But I think that's what Phase 4 is for.
Building up.
I think
like kind of get
that's why there's not an Avengers. Right? Well, I think that's why there's not an Avengers movie in this phase. Is I think this is going to be all set up for a bunch of little or smaller villains or whatever, building to the mega threat in Phase 5, Phase 6, whatever.
Yep.
But that, like, okay, we're introducing the Skrulls. Maybe we're going to slowly introduce X-Men villains into the universe through WandaVision. Like if they're going to use Magneto as Wanda's father,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, like maybe that's how they introduce it all. Maybe like, and I was even thinking too, like Xavier has the power to manipulate people's minds, right?
Yep.
So what happens if like Magneto or Xavier is part of the simulation thing that's manipulating Wanda's mind into keeping her peaceful and like straight?
That'd be awesome.
And he's part of SWORD, and he's like there helping them like keep her maintained and her powers intact. Kind of thing.
I can totally look past everything that's happening with it now if this culminated in Magneto being introduced or Xavier being introduced. All of this would go from being boring to awesome.
I mean, there's just so many little things that like I think they could could be introducing very easily through this.
I do too.
And like the fact that Quicksilver isn't in this and she knows he's dead. And I'm like, okay, but you know also that Vision's dead. And why couldn't you just make Quicksilver part of the simulation? And if we're just bringing back whoever we want.
He will, though, right? That will happen.
I think so, too. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is I think this is the way.
He's casted. I'm pretty sure he was cast. I'm pretty sure he's confirmed.
Yeah. So I think if you're going to bring Quicksilver in, then you might as well bring in Magneto. You have a whole family reunion.
That'd be so sick. The thing is like, so I see my buddy down there on the comments is saying it's not going to happen. But like, the thing is like, you don't even need to bring Magneto in as a mutant.
No.
You
just
can
a guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like that's how the MCU works. Everything is like ridiculously slowly drawn out. Like
right. But that you have the twins, you could be like, oh, like I want the twins to meet my dad with their grandfather.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And then you just introduce him as whatever, as a guy that's her dad, and they don't even specify that he's Magneto or anything like that. And then later on down the line, we all know he's Magneto, but it doesn't have to build to next year. There's an X-Men movie, like
exactly. There won't be an X-Men movie for a while. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm thinking like
even if we don't get an X-Men movie for 5 years, there's no way we're not going to see X-Men. Like, there's still going to be characters in it. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're going to just start showing up randomly. They're not going to be in mutant-specific movies. They're just going to start showing up. That's what I think. They're going to do the slow burn effect like they do with everything.
Absolutely.
Because they
and I think that's the right way to go about it.
Me too. Especially now that they have so many characters. They can just start putting them in here and there, just where you wouldn't expect it and where you could really make a good story with the characters, right? But Astonishing is saying, what if they bring the Fox version of Quicksilver? But we talked about this last week, didn't we? Right. He's cast. He's officially cast.
Well,
he's cast in this show.
I just think, too, it's the multiverse aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
As if they're bringing in the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and they're bringing in...
it means they're all connected to the MCU, even if it's just in a distant way.
Right. So they're going to use the Doctor Strange movie to build the multiverse.
Totally.
And then they're going to extend that in the Spider-Man 3 movie. And it's going to all build towards, okay, all these characters exist in some way or another. And I guarantee, I don't guarantee it because obviously I don't know anything, but I would not be surprised at all if Hugh Jackman ends up showing up as a Wolverine in
That'd
some
be amazing. I could see Hugh Jackman doing one more as Wolverine.
He said
that a cameo. I know.
Well, he said back in the day that he would love to come back and do Marvel Wolverine movie.
I remember.
Yeah. And everybody was like, well, that's never going to happen because they're going to recast everything. But they can still recast everything. He is just a version of the Wolverine in another multiverse.
That'd be amazing. That'd be so amazing.
And then Stranded saying right now, Old Man Logan. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. They could do an Old Man Logan. Well, they kind of did with Logan. But,
well, not really. It's not at all the same story, but
it's not. But
it's like paying. It's like the Fox movie version of Old Man Logan.
Right. Again, exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, they're going to have to redo all these stories anyway because the Fox version of all these stories was bad.
Yeah, I agree.
But they can still have and maintain that universe as, like, okay, we're not canceling all those movies and pretending they don't exist. They exist.
I thought about that today when I was thinking about just Marvel stuff in general, and I said, like, that's one of the cool things is, like, if they ever got the itch one day down the road to, like, do a new X-Men movie in that universe, like, they could do it and it would still make sense. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I mean. It's like, so it's taking the reverse way that they did with Star Wars, right? Where when they took over Star Wars, they go, well, none of the extended universe exists anymore. We're redoing everything. Right. And then all the fans got up and was like, well, I've participated in this universe for the last 20 years of my life and read all these extended universe books, and you're just saying it doesn't count anymore. Where now they can say, well, you love this X-Men 3 for whatever reason. I don't know why. If you love X-Men 3, you probably should just not like movies anymore. But but hey, you love X-Men 3, well, it still counts. It exists, and it's in our universe. And if you want to, do that, then more power to you. And
you need to stay on track, but I'm gonna write it down, but we need to later talk about Star Wars and this exact conversation, but Star Wars,
Okay.
because I read something that's pretty interesting.
Okay, we'll add that to later. But yeah, like, so the one thing too I realized, and obviously like we kind of talked about it in the last episode, but the fake commercial again was for like the bubble bath, but the bubble bath was called Hydra Soak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so they're talking about Hydra and all that again. Like, I think there's something more going on with that too.
I kind of wondered if maybe if the commercials are drawing something from her memories, because like Strucker is the one who like experimented on her and how she apparently got her powers or whatever. Right. And the Hydra Soak, she like Strucker was part of Hydra. And then the Stark toaster, she said that like when they sat next to that bomb waiting for it to go off, all they read was Stark. So I kind of wondered if maybe these are all triggered to certain memories in her life or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's all I'm reading the comments and they're cracking me up. It's all tied in together. Yeah. It's all her memories, and I still don't really understand the sitcom aspect of it, of like why she's jumping to different eras of sitcoms. Like, I really hope that they answer why she relates to these sitcoms so much.
Me too.
Because obviously now we're in the 70s, they're talking Brady Bunch and everything like that. Even though
I love the theme song for it.
Yeah,
it was so.
But like, it didn't really make sense. Like, Brady Bunch was about two split families coming together with like 8 kids or whatever the hell it was, 6 kids, whatever it is. It didn't really make sense for the episode, but I mean, I guess that was the most iconic.
I feel like that's just an aesthetic piece to it. I don't feel like,
right.
My friend's asking if those are DVDs. Yes, they're DVDs.
Yeah, they're DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Blu-rays. But I mean, that's not even all of them. That's just too short. They extend all the way.
His like old living room used to look like Sean's house with toys, but like with DVDs. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's about give or take like 1,100, 1,200 DVDs now.
Jesus Christ! I always used to take his DVDs and burn them.
I remember those times.
I swear to God, I have like 600 DVDs and like half of them are burned and they're from your shelves.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you did it. I want to say South Park or something like that, but
I bought most of the South Parks. I took all of your Office. I took all of your. What did I take? Office. We're gonna go down to this crazy loophole. We don't need to talk about this. It's so irrelevant. But a lot of.
But yeah, obviously, like they're also like we should probably talk about the twins because they're going to be obviously a key part of the Young Avengers and everything like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But do they actually exist? That's my thing. Is if they're born in the simulation, are they real?
But the thing is if she just pushed what's her name out of the simulation into the real world, then what's to stop her from doing the kids too, right? Also, I guess that's fair. For an episode, for a show where in one episode she goes from being not pregnant to having kids, and I'm still calling it slow. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but
it's like in the process, it's so slow moving, but it's like the story is. I mean, it's not really the story; it's just weird.
Yeah, but you knew, okay, there's only 9 episodes, so they couldn't draw it out for 3 episodes if she's pregnant. Like, it had to be quick.
I know,
but. I mean, again, like I didn't find it interesting that she was going like the doctor coming in and going, "You're 3 months pregnant," and then 20 minutes later, you're having babies. I'm like, it didn't really work for me. I was like, this isn't done in a way that made it like funny or interesting. Like I kind of expected it all, you know?
Yeah, I think that part it plays like what it's trying to do, which it's like playing out like an old like sitcom or whatever. To me, like, all the jokes and stuff are really hitting exactly like that, right? Like everything from like the shot of the house from the road at the beginning with the music playing, and you go and it's like everything is just like exactly what it was like in the era, right?
Yeah,
Strand saying the biggest thing pushing Monica out is that Monica's clothes stay on, which means that created or altered in Westview can exist in real world. That's
Right.
interesting. I didn't even think about that.
But the fact that like the simulation was clearly an actual place in the real world, and it's
Yes.
not like in her head.
Yeah.
Then all these people within the simulation, I assume, work for Sword.
Right. Yes. I mean, well, like, who knows?
Or-
I mean, but the
I would
thing is,
assume.
like, what if Sword is a bunch of Skrulls?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking too, though. Now is like okay, well, maybe these are all Skrulls, and they're just intimidating everybody that she or impersonating everybody that she knew, or people past in her life or whatever. Like maybe all these people existed in her life at some point.
At the end of Captain Marvel, the stinger at the end where Nick Fury is sitting on the beach, but it's not a beach, he's like in space or whatever.
Isn't that Spider-Man?
Oh, was that Spider-Man? Yeah, you're right, it was Spider-Man. But I don't think we don't actually see any Skrulls walk by or anything. Is it just assumed that he's like on a spaceship with Skrulls or no?
I think they zoom out on the spaceship, but I don't think it shows Skrulls.
Because I wondered if maybe like he leads Sword and then like.
Well, I assume he does, yeah.
And then maybe he's working with all the Skrulls, so I wonder if that would make sense, maybe?
Well, I mean, Captain Marvel ends with her going to find the Skrulls a home, right?
John just said that. He said, so him and the Skrulls are making Sword.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, is I think instead of finding them necessarily a home, maybe they've made like some kind of space station or something where the Skrulls live temporarily, and that's part of Sword, like that's the Sword base or whatever. And so
Cool.
now, like, Sword can infiltrate anything. Like it's a maximum amount of spies because they can be anybody.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, it's for sure gonna. Sword's gonna obviously play into something, but
yeah.
John says, "Will we see Abigail Brand in the series?" I don't know who that is. The name sounds familiar, but
I don't know who that is either. I can't think.
I don't know.
Sorry.
He'll
I'm not-
know.
Yeah. Post again because clueless into what we're missing. But yeah. Overall, I thought the episode was pretty weak, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like where it's heading. I like where it's heading, but I just don't think it's going fast enough for 30 minutes a week. It's too little.
It's too crawly. It's crawly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe after a couple more views, it'll be good. But the thing is it's not compelling enough to want to really rewatch it, right? Like,
right.
It's like with Mandalorian. You know, I can watch it like 4 times before I watch next week's episode, right? But it's like,
totally.
This is not that. So
no, and that's exactly what it's not enticing enough to want to rewatch it right now. But by season end, it might be where it's like, oh, this is just building towards something really cool.
I probably will rewatch it from front to back, like in 1 or 2 nights or something like that, once it's finished, just to get the full feel. So,
right.
Abigail Brand is a special agent, commander of Sword.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Thanks. I'm just testing you. Astonishing's doing a podcast thing right now, or some YouTube stuff. He's just starting.
Oh, nice.
So this was actually just a test to see how on your game you were, and you passed. Good job.
Well, Stranded's talking about Mephisto, and apparently Mephisto is a big part of this. I'm not super familiar with the character, so I can't really talk to that. But
yeah, I know a bit. I don't know a ton, but I know a bit. He's like, I don't think he's like the devil, but I think he's like
he looks like the devil.
Yeah, I don't think he's meant to be like the actual devil. I might be wrong. I don't think he is, but maybe he is.
I saw that online that everybody's assuming this is Mephisto, like manipulating. I guess
rumors,
whatever, but
I think one of the things that's going around is that Ralph is Mephisto. That's Catherine Hahn's husband, off-screen husband, Ralph. You know, because even in this one, I think in this one she makes a comment and says something like, when the power goes off, she's like, "It's okay, Ralph looks better in the dark," or something like that, right? And
right. Yeah, so I think it's definitely gonna. I hope next week is the episode where the
version of the devil. That's what he says.
Right.
Yeah,
I think next week is where it's gonna really kick off, right? Like you would hope.
I hope so. I hope we get.
But
something.
It's gonna move into the 80s, right? So or 70s. So
no,
50, 60, 70, 80. So hopefully we get like a cool 80s sitcom thing. You know, Fresh Prince or something like that.
That'd be 90s, I guess.
Well, it started in I think 89, but
did it?
Fresh Prince, I think so. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's getting into our era where like it'd be really cool to see like some sitcoms that like we actually relate to compared to our parents relate to. You know,
how good would it be to get something like Full House?
Yeah, exactly. Like Full House for sure would be perfect. I mean, the fun thing I saw online too was people saying that Wanda, who's Elizabeth Olsen, well, her sisters are obviously the Olsen twins, so Full House would be perfect for that. But I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't come back and do it as like characters or anything like that because they didn't even want to be a part of the Full House reboot on Netflix. So I'm assuming they're.
Imagine they were like, "You got it, dude."
That's how the episode ends.
Be amazing.
It's like the Looney Tunes. It pans out into like the circle frame or whatever. It's like, "You got it, dude."
How rude. And Astonishing just said the Bill Cosby Show.
Yeah, I don't think Juicy's gonna want to touch that one.
That's so funny.
Get that Jello pudding pop.
Remember? Do you remember House of Cosby's? Remember that?
Oh, it's so good, dude.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah, I showed my friend
that right when we start, and we're gonna see how long it takes to kick in.
I showed all my friends House of Cosby's because we got it into Rick and Morty, and it's one of the same creators, right? So
who's the creator for that?
I can't pull the name right now.
It's not the guy from Community, though, right?
I'm not. I think it's one of them.
Oh,
I'm not a Community fan, so
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon's one of them, I believe. But the other guy, I think, is one.
I didn't know he was part of House of Cosby's. That's funny.
No, he's part of Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, I did know that. Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, the guy that created House of Cosby's, I think, is the guy that's also the co-creator.
Right. House of Cosby's was so funny.
Justin Roiland.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
House of Cosby's so funny.
Yeah, I think you could probably still find it on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. But
I'm sure you could.
It got canceled pretty quick.
Yeah, just the first episode was really funny. Rudy!
Yeah. It got canceled really quick because I guess Bill Cosby sued. So he had
to...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was only like 10 different Cosbys to sue, so there you go. It's like 10. Isn't there like a robotic one or something?
Yeah, that was Cosby 10, I think. Do you want to get into some Marvel news?
Yeah, man, sure. I
wrote down
to keep up with it as much anymore, so you'll have to include me, and I'll just go, whoa.
Well, I only wrote down a few things, but So Morbius got delayed twice.
Good.
Morbius was supposed to come out in March. It got pushed to October, and then like 3 days later, they pushed it to next year.
Right, I remember that.
Well, it just got pushed to next year yesterday, I think. It got delayed to October, and then it got pushed to January 21st, 2022, because James Bond got pushed to October, and they don't want Morbius coming out the same day as James Bond.
Yeah.
But so that brings up the question of, are we going to get everything pushed? Because Black Widow is supposed to come out in May. I can't see it coming out in May.
I do think everything is going to keep getting pushed. Absolutely.
If they're willing to push Morbius, then they're going to push everything again.
Yeah. Everything's going to get pushed. I know they're being optimistic with stuff, but like vaccinations in the States are behind, and even and here, I know they're really bad here, but even with the vaccinations, you're not the everyday people are going to be taking less risks like that. Like there's going to be less. I think that this is ultimately going to really, really affect box office numbers.
Well, how could it not? Like,
yeah.
Even if they say, okay, lockdown's over, go to the theaters if you choose to. I'm not going to the theaters this year until at least I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not risking it.
I won't go till I'm vaccinated either.
Right. So, yeah, if a movie comes out in May, I'm not going to the theaters to see it.
I'll just do it on my on Disney Plus or whatever.
Well, that's what I hope they end up doing, is saying
they will.
we're gonna post it on Disney Plus that day. But
they can still
I honestly,
they can still
I think they're just gonna push it again. I think it's gonna be like an August movie, and then they're gonna hope that by August we're all vaccinated.
I think that's wishful thinking. Call me a pessimist, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I don't know. Who knows? Who knows anything? A year ago, we wouldn't have thought that we'd still be in this, right? So
I know. But here we are.
Yeah. So
living it.
Anyway, so there was a bunch of Spider-Man 3 news. They said that set pictures show that it takes place in like winter, which I think is cool because we've never seen a winter setting for Spider-Man.
No, we haven't.
That Tom Holland's brother is probably in the movie. He was pictured on set, and he's probably playing Harry Osborn / Green Goblin.
Very cool.
So that's interesting.
Tom Holland's brother isn't Tom Holland a twin?
I think so, yeah.
But maybe they're not identical twins then.
I guess not. I don't know, but I found that weird too because I was like, if they look the same, then like that doesn't really work for Harry Osborn. But
yeah, totally.
I'm not sure, but
that'd be cool. It's cool that get our version of our Goblin, like because that's the thing is even though they're going to use the other Green Goblins from the old movies for now, we're going to need our own in this universe, right? So,
right. And then there was a set picture that showed Mysterio's outfit, costume, whatever. So they assume Mysterio is alive and back in this movie.
Cool.
And that it was confirmed Charlie Cox had wrapped on filming, so Daredevil or Matt Murdock of some sort is in the movie. I don't know how much or anything like that, but
hopefully he's as Daredevil, and I hope he's wearing a somewhat updated costume, maybe more red.
Yeah, I think this is the easy way to reintroduce Daredevil. And like, I mean, obviously they're going to do a Sinister Six type thing. So, I mean, the big final fight, if all of a sudden, Matt Murdock is a lawyer the entire movie, Spidey doesn't know that he's actually Daredevil, and then the end he needs help in the fight or something, and Daredevil comes bouncing in and helps him. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. So, and Daredevil would probably be able to figure it out. He's Spider-Man, probably.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, I think that'd be really cool. And then hopefully that means we'll also get Fisk and Kingpin.
Yeah. Oh man, honestly, I would give up a Spider-Man villain in a movie just so that way they could make room for more of what's his name, DeFargo. How do you say his name? Denario. Who's the actor?
Oh, Vincent Denario.
There you go. Yeah, he's awesome. He's so good.
Or is it D'Onofrio?
I don't know. I'm fucking high.
You got me confused now, but yes. No, totally. Like,
this is the podcast where we both just kind of know what we're talking about, but it doesn't matter because we're just fucking chatting it up and having a good time.
Yeah. We're two friends. We're not experts.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that my only concern is like I don't know how they're going to fit all these characters in the movie and not have it 5 hours long.
Nah, I would say it's probably not worth worrying about. That's what I would say.
Well, I'm not worried about it, but I mean, the last Spider-Man 3 was awful because they introduced 9 villains in it, and
you're not even looking with this. Yeah, but it's totally different. Like when you have Feige involved.
Well, let's hope.
I don't know if you ever saw those. Did you ever see those? You remember when they had all those leaked Sony emails?
Yeah.
When Amazing Spider-Man started blowing up, kind of. So there was like an email from like Kevin Feige to the studio, basically saying like what they could have done, like what they could have taken out of Amazing Spider-Man 2 to make it better, and it was like all the shit that like made it so bad, right? Like, yeah, it's just so funny to see that. And you're just like, see, if you put it in capable hands, then it'll be okay, right? Like.
I definitely think he's part of the reason that Sony said, yeah, just keep going, like, just pay us money and you can do whatever you want with Spider-Man. But,
yeah.
I mean, with Venom getting pushed, or with Morbius getting pushed, I assume Venom's going to get pushed. I don't know. I hope for one day that we do get a straight, like, Venom movie, because I love Venom, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I could go without Venom from what we've gotten, so I'm fine. But
The Venom
like, if
movie
we
was
get,
terrible. Don't get me wrong.
yeah. But if we got a Marvel, if we got an MCU,
That's what I'm saying.
like, yeah, if Feige did it, I'd be on board. Or
Like,
like
I
if
want a
somebody
Venom
reputable
Spider-Man
did
to
it,
be like
I'd be
where
on board.
that's happened to Black Suit Spider-Man and everything like that. Like, I think that'd be dope.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be cool.
So lastly, the last news article I got, and I mean, this isn't confirmed or anything like that, but I watch a lot of Kind of Funny videos. They're a YouTube channel that I follow that's mostly game related, but they asked the head of Naughty Dog, or the vice president of Naughty Dog, which is like a huge game developer, what game he would like to make most. And this is the creator of like Uncharted and The Last of Us, which are two of my favorite games of all time. And his number one thing that he said he would love to make if he had the opportunity was a Punisher game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I was like, man, I would absolutely love the creators of Last of Us. Like, it's super dark, gritty game to make like a dark adult Punisher game.
That'd be cool.
And yeah,
That's
I mean,
from someone who does no gaming at all, but that
sure,
would still
but
be cool.
The fact that like Insomniac has made the last two Spider-Man games and they have been excellent.
Yep.
Obviously, like Disney sees that like giving a good developer their IP will make like a great game. So giving like one of the best developers in the world at Naughty Dog one of their properties in Punisher, I think would make like an awesome video game. So there's money to be made there, and I think Disney likes money. So
yeah, that's true. I feel like Punisher would be a good character to get that treatment too, right? Like, like that's a character that really makes a lot of sense in terms of like going on missions and collecting different weapons, the crazy weapons, and being really fucking violent and dark, and
super violent. Yeah. Well, that and like, I mean, this game would probably be like 5-6 years out. Like, we're probably not going to get it anytime soon, but I just think like by that time, then maybe they have a Punisher movie, and you know the characters back in the universe and everything like that. Then you can put a video game, and it will really tie, not necessarily like a direct tie into the movie, but you know the characters out there, and they want to push the character as much as possible. Well, then by then you have the opportunity. Maybe the U.S. has settled down where gun violence isn't as prominent, and you know you can move on like that.
Yeah, hopefully that'd be awesome. Do you think they would keep if they ever do more Punisher in the MCU? Do you think they would keep John or whatever his name is?
John Bernthal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the best Punisher we've gotten live action.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not super difficult, I don't think, but
no, I mean he's basically the exact same character he was in Walking Dead.
Is he? Yeah, he's great. He was awesome.
He's awesome in Walking Dead. Like, I mean, once he left the show, I think the show really fell apart. So,
oh really?
Yeah, I mean, I like the first like 5-ish seasons of Walking Dead, but like they're on like season 10 now. I haven't watched it in like 2 or 3 seasons. The show completely fell apart. But those first like season and a half, 2 seasons or whatever are like excellent, and he was a part of that those first 2 seasons. So I think he's a great actor. Like, I'd love to see him do Punisher more, and he said he enjoyed playing the character, so I think he'd be down to do more. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I hope if we get more of him, then they keep him on because he was sweet too.
No, totally. I'd love to see more of him do it. Even if like they do, like I said last week, like the Deadpool rated R movie. Well, you can make a Punisher rated R movie then, and it doesn't have to necessarily tie into the rest of the universe. Just make me a good Punisher movie.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the thing is, they can all still live in the same universe. It doesn't really matter. Even if it's R-rated, it really doesn't matter.
Well, it just can't have direct tie-ins, right? Like, you can't make it move the plot forward of the grand story, because obviously there's going to be a large portion
accessible to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So just make it a standalone movie, and that's fine. Like, it's kind of what DC is doing now with like, hey, we're going to make this Batman movie that doesn't tie in with the rest of the universe, but it's going to be a good Batman movie. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, did you see Joker?
No, I never saw Joker.
See, I love Joker. I thought Joker was awesome. So
it's funny because when I talk to some people, they love it, and when I talk to other people, they hate it. It's like no one's in the middle. It's like,
yeah. See, I mean, I love Batman. Batman is my favorite superhero. I love like Nolan's Batman movies, except the third one wasn't very great, but the first 2 I thought excellent.
Yeah, Really?
So, like, a serious take on Joker is basically what this movie is, and like I really enjoyed it. So
yeah. I haven't seen any DC movies. As my friend is saying, Matt's a DC hater, and yes, that's true. I'm a DC hater.
Well, it's easy to be a DC hater because his movies are mostly terrible.
Yeah, anything heroes, just the heroes in general, like none of them do it for me.
I think
Batman's boring. Yeah, me too. I think Superman's boring. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know what though is I don't really think there's a ton of people who are. I mean, I think he's a popular character, but I think in the realm of like nerd fandom, I don't feel like he's as big of a character as say Batman or Spider-Man.
Superman?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're crazy.
Oh, really? Well, like, okay, so like I know Astonishing in the comments, that's his favorite superhero, I think, or it's one of his favorite superheroes. Maybe
Superman's huge, man.
Yeah, I don't like.
I don't like Superman at all because I just think he's completely unrelatable.
Yeah, totally.
Like, he has no real downfalls, like other than Kryptonite, which is just a boring plot device. Like, I don't find the character all that interesting as in general, but I think he's a very popular character, and hey, more power to you. But I don't think the movies have been that great. Like, yeah. I think that the first Superman movie that Zack Snyder did was fine. Batman vs Superman, I thought was terrible. Justice League, I thought was awful.
Yeah, those are all bad.
I mean, Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie was good. Second one was terrible. So I don't know. I mean, yeah. I'm not like a Superman fanatic. I couldn't tell you all, super comic-y details about the character or anything like that, but I've just never really found the character all that interesting. So Batman, I thought, was always PC's best superhero. So
it's not that I like Batman. It's that I like his rogues. I like his villains. He's the same as I mean, I actually like Spider-Man, but like a big part of why I like Spider-Man is because I like who he fights. He's got a great selection of villains, right? Like,
yeah, the villains are the best part of Batman.
Yeah, I agree. The villains are the kind of stuff where it's like, I wish I had customers who wanted me to customize Batman villains because, like, fuck, I would love to do that. That'd be so fun.
Well, the thing is, too, right, is like Spider-Man, I think as, like, okay, Spider-Man's interesting and Peter Parker's interesting. Right. Where for Batman, I think Batman's interesting, but Bruce Wayne is boring as fuck.
Right.
And, like, I don't really find Bruce Wayne interesting as a character or anything because that's the mask. Like, Bruce Wayne isn't a real person because Bruce Wayne is actually Batman. That's who he wants to be. So Batman, I find, is, like, the interesting part of Batman. But then, yeah, the villains are awesome. Like, I think that's the best group of villains you could have in any
he's
universe.
Got great villains for sure.
Right. So like Spider-Man,
that's the extent of my like of DC is just Batman.
Yeah, villains. Well, that's most of my like of DC, but like Spider-Man is the same way. Where like I always love like Venom's dope, Shocker's dope, like Scorpion's cool, Doc Ock is awesome. Like Craven, like all these characters where I was like, these are all dope characters that I would love to see. Yeah, Shocker's my favorite.
Shitty B-list villains.
Shocker was always my favorite too as a kid. Like watching the animated series, I was like, Shocker's dope.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why though, because he's super lame in reality.
Yeah, he looks ridiculous.
But I always love Shocker and Venom.
Big fan. Yeah, I like Venom. I just finished this Venom. I just put them together tonight.
Yeah, he looks. I watched you working on him last week, and it's just so good.
Yeah,
you did such a good job, man.
I mostly like it.
What was the Star Wars thing you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so I read this thing. I don't know how true it is, but I've been kind of reading it for a bit. So it makes me kind of wonder if it is true, because it's maybe one of those kind of things where people say it's going to happen and it just never does. So I heard that they might there's this thing in Star Wars Rebels. It's basically like a mirror to like alternate timeline.
Uh-oh. You froze for a second. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, you froze. Yeah, you started blocking.
So in Star Wars Rebels, spoilers for Star Wars Rebels. So so at the end of Star Wars Rebels, basically, there's like this like mirror galaxy thing where like you can basically like go into like different timelines like it's essentially like a way to like time travel in the Star Wars universe kind of thing. And they're
Okay.
talking about like utilizing that to basically write out episode 7, 8, 9 out of canon and just put it in its own pocket universe where it's like there, but like it's not really part of like what came before it. It's just like an alternate timeline of what could have happened. Kind of like putting it into like a legend status where like it's not canon, but it happened. But it's not canon.
Wasn't there like major rumors before episode 9 came out that how they were going to resolve most of episode 8 was that they were going to use time travel?
I can't remember. There was so many rumors about episode 9. I remember having to kind of shut it off for a bit because I couldn't keep up. Like there was just so much.
I think that's. I mean, I could be completely making this up, and it could have been like a dream or something. I don't know, because I was thinking a lot about Star Wars at the time. But I'm pretty sure that before episode 9 came out, the way people were explaining what was going to go on in episode 9 and how they're going to get around basically bringing back the Emperor and everything like that was it was going to be time travel. And that's how they're going to make it make sense. And
well, I mean, that technology would have been there at that point because Rebels had ended by then. So,
but obviously that didn't happen in episode 9. But
right.
The way that, I mean, I think time travel is problematic, right? Because you can use it to explain anything.
Yep, me too.
Well, the fact that Marvel,
Superman sucks. All his villains are shit. Sorry, I had
the way that Marvel like used that as a plot device in Endgame and everything like that was time travel. Is I think if you rely on that too heavily and like, oh, the fans didn't like this movie, we're just going to use time travel to get rid of it.
Yes. Well, that's like what I said last week too, though. Like that's what I said last week when we talked about the multiverse, right? And I said like, that's part of the issue I have with the multiverse is like you can just use it to right any wrong. Like if you take a wrong turn and everyone's like, whoa, why did you do that? You can just be like, forget that we did it. And I mean,
there's lots of rumors going around that Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America somehow.
I saw that.
And I mean, who knows? It could be a cameo. It could be time travel. It could be they're going to do another Captain America movie. It could be taking place when he was bringing back all the Infinity Stones. The last movie.
It's going to be. That's what I think.
Sure. There's a lot of ways they could use him and do a movie with him. But my point is like, okay, well then no character is ever going to be dead, and you could bring back Iron Man. You could bring back anybody then, like Black Widow, whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
Just like the comics. That's like I said last week. That's exactly what this is getting to. It's just going to be like the comics. If you make a wrong turn, you can just undo it.
But the problem is that takes away all the emotional impact of anything.
I agree. That's what I'm worried about.
And so if no character is really dead, then you're never going to feel that emotional like pull of like, oh man, this happened and this character is dead, and you know I'm crying in the theater because I love that character, and now it's well, whoops, we rewinded time, it's back. And it's like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? So I'm hoping they don't use that too much. But personally, like, I mean, like we've talked about before, is like, if you want to get rid of the prequels and the sequels of the Star Wars movies, I'm completely content with that.
No, I like this. I like the prequel stuff enough now that like I wouldn't want them to lose that. And
I know you like the animated stuff.
I do like the animated stuff a lot.
Yeah, you don't like the prequel movies.
I like the prequel movies. Yeah, they don't bother me anymore. Well, don't get me wrong. Like I don't think they're as good as the first ones, but I like them enough. Yeah, I think they're fine. They've grown on me over the age as what they are. Like I've accepted them that they're not like 8 out of 10 out of 10s. They're, like 6,
5, 3, 2 out of 10s.
Yeah, they're not awesome, but they are what they are. It just is. It is.
I mean, other than Watto, I hate them.
You what, sorry?
I said, other than Watto, I hate those movies. Like
I find the whole the
prequel movies suck.
It's funny because like the stuff that I hated when they came out is the stuff that intrigues me about it now.
Really?
It's like the political side of like watching this thing grow into like something uncontrollable that just like takes over everything. is like so interesting to watch happen. Like it's.
I mean, really, if they said none of the prequels exist anymore and none of the sequels exist except for Rogue One, I'd be completely content.
Yeah, I know you would.
Give me Rogue One, give me Episode 4, Episode 5, Episode 6, and the rest of the universe doesn't exist.
Me and you have always been different that way, though. I'm always one to have like the more content in a universe, the better. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get into it all, but I love like a universe that's like rich with content, like rich with stuff happening.
Even but I want the content to be good.
Yeah, but the thing is like it can't all be 10 out of 10. Like it's just there's so much of it. Right?
No, but okay, but then you gotta flip side that argument is like the Marvel universe. We're at 23 movies.
Yep,
and 87% of it's great. You know, like the few bad movies in that universe is like okay, well, yeah, you're gonna miss here and there, but it's very few and far between. Where Star Wars, we're at. What, 11 movies?
Yep.
And I'd say 5 or 6 of them are bad.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of bad ones, but I don't know. I guess I'm just like I can accept it for what it is in most cases. I'm not saying there's things that happen in all of those movies that I don't cringe at or that I don't.
There's elements of all the movies that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like I love the Darth Maul fight in 1.
Yeah.
The arena battle at the end of 2 where like, you know, they're all fighting in the big arena with everything like in the where the clones and everything like it's great. Episode 3 when they're fighting Grievous and everything like that, like so I think it's way too CGI heavy, but I think the fight's cool. All of it is like the whole prequel trilogy is like a cartoon with featuring Hayden Christensen and right. What's his name? Mace Windu and whatever, right? Like it's all animated. The stormtroopers, everything is. No, I know, and I mean it was made to sell toys, and I get that, but like, I mean it worked. Look behind you. Yeah. But I like episode 7. I thought was fine. 8, I hated for the most part, but there was a couple cool scenes in it. 9 I thought was completely throwaway pretty much. Yeah, but
I didn't like, to be honest with you, I didn't 8 played off to me like somebody who didn't know the characters were writing for them.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
There was a lot of things that characters did that didn't seem like that would be what they would do in a lot of ways. And it's just like for those reasons, that's why I feel like 8 doesn't feel like part of the Star Wars universe because it's like a bunch of stuff that I just watching all the movies that came before that just doesn't seem like that would be the way those scenarios would have played out to me. So
I totally agree.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like somebody who was like, I know that Luke Skywalker would normally do this, but instead, let's do this. Shock value.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's like,
but
nah, man. Like,
I think that was because
with an amazing character, like you can't just do that.
Right, but I think the problem with that is the 3 different directors that they had planned. They didn't have a cohesive story they wanted for the new trilogy. Like they just went, okay, we're going to get 3 good directors and let them do whatever they want, but they have to work together as a trilogy. But they didn't.
Yeah,
and. Then I mean, J.J. Abrams came back and ended up being the final movie, but
who was supposed to be the last one? Josh Trank?
No, I had it in my head, and then you said Josh Trank, and it ran away. Colin Trevorrow.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think the problem is you see a lot of these Disney directors, right, where these are like creative type guys or women or whoever that want to come into the universe and do their own thing. And Disney has a set general idea of where they want these things to go and what they need them to lead to. And there's a lot of directors that can't handle that kind of supervision. So you see a lot of these people come into the universe and go, oh no, this isn't how I write stories or how I direct a movie like that. I can't do this. And they bounce. And you saw that with the Star Wars movies, but you're seeing it in Marvel too, where like, the original Oh, we're out of time. I got 24 seconds left remaining for some reason.
Oh, snap. All right. Yeah, it only goes for an hour.
I didn't know that.
It doesn't always. For some reason, it lets me go longer sometimes, but sometimes that kicks me off after an hour. It's fucking weird.
Well, I have 10 seconds, so I guess we have to end it here.
Peace out, fuckers.
Good chat. We'll see you next week. Thanks for everybody for watching, and yeah, see you next Saturday.
Peace.
Bye.